Okay, guys, so now we're going to create our grids for our building. Usually, grids are based on structural systems or structural grids. These are usually given to you by an engineer, but you can specify them in your design because it helps you organize your building in terms of gives you reference points to put walls against and that kind of stuff, which makes it a lot easier to kind of organize your how you're designing your building. So if you click on ground floor on the project browser, so double click ground floor, if you zoom out a bit. So what we're going to do is create architectural grids. To find that, if you go to architecture, datum grid, or the keyboard shortcut for that is GR, if you want. So click on architecture grid. Now a couple of things here. To place a grid, what you need to do is you start on one end, and then you drag that grid along, and then click to finish. Okay, so that's our first grid. Um, Same things apply as our levels. If you you can click escape a couple of times to get off that tool. If you click on that grid, same things applies. You can change the location of the bubble. You can also drag it with those grab circles as well. Okay, so you can change what what where you want the distances and that kind of stuff of the lines. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is create our next grid line. Automatically, they are numbered or and they go in order. So for me, I want to change my horizontal grid lines to alphabetical and not based on number. So if you click on the actual grid number, click it once, then click it again. I'm going to change that to A, capital A. So from now on, any new horizontal line I create will be alphabetical, okay, and just makes it a lot easier. So I'm gonna click on architecture grid again. A couple of ways you can do this. You can either hover along the grid line. You see, dimension comes up. So I'm gonna put mine at 4,500. Click, and then drag it along until you get to the edge, and then it will snap in with the rest of it, or it should snap in with the rest of it. If you bring that back to there. Okay, and then obviously I want my header to be on the other side, so I'll tick that off. And then the next thing I want to do is change that now. Okay, so once you've done that, you can go back and change it. So if, for example, you want to make it specific, one specific dimension from A to B, you would click on B. That's the one you want to change. So the one you want to change would be the one you select, and then if you click on the template dimension, I'm going to put that as 9,000 for my first dimension between A and B. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is add my next one. So if I go to architecture datum, again, same thing applies. You can either hover over there, B, and then get to your next one. And my next one is going to be at 9,000. Again, change the direction of which side the leader is on. That makes it nice and neat. There. Just tidy this up for you. There you go. For now, just ignore the elevation markers. We will move them later. So just ignore these little markers. They will be moved later. So next thing I'm going to do is add our vertical grids. To do that again, same thing applies. Go to architecture data grid. I'm going to start at the top here and work my way down. Now here, a couple of things differ. I want to rename my vertical grids in numbers. Okay, so I want to just start there with a 1. Now from now on, all my vertical grids, grid lines will be numbered in sequence. So if you do your first one right, the rest of them will follow suit. So another thing with grid lines is make sure you overlap. Don't attempt to just finish off like that because grid lines should overlap because that indicates it's a grid line. Okay. When you're drawing, and it just makes it easier to kind of locate them as well, rather than trying to find the precise corners and that. Okay, so make sure there is an overlap on all edges. The same thing applies. You can create a grid line. So my next one's at 9,000. The next one is at 7,000. And the final one is at 7,000 again. I'm going to click and skip a couple of times, and that's your grid lines set up for your project. If you go back to your elevations, you'll see now that you should see the grid lines there. If you want to tidy that up again, if you just click on your elevation levels and extend them on both sides, just to get that overlap as well, it just makes it neater from the start. So again, same thing for this one. Extend it both sides, and then make sure they overlap to the bottom as well, just to make it clean. So when the elevations do start coming in later on, they are in the right place for my grid lines, so they're not in the middle of my elevations, which can be awkward later on to change. Okay, so that's them all fixed. So that's levels. So you should have them now on the other levels as well. If you just check that they are right on the other levels as well. Yep. Okay, so that is levels.